All right, let's dive into the Philippines. We're talking geography, history, the culture, really getting a feel for this amazing country.
Sounds good to me.
First off, over 7,000 islands. Can you believe that? That's a lot of islands.
It is, and it's funny. People always think beaches, right? But there's mountains too, volcanoes even. And those rice terraces, just incredible. The landscapes are so varied.
Yeah, I mean, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, right?
Yeah.
The big three island groups.
Exactly.
And Manila, the capital, so much history there. But actually, Quezon City, part of Metro Manila, is the biggest by population. Fun fact.
Surprises a lot of people, that one. And yeah, the history, wow, it's long, it's complex. Before the Spanish even showed up, like in the 1500s, you had these indigenous groups thriving, trading kingdoms like Tondo, Cebu.
Or reconnected to Asia, right? Like through trade routes,
Yeah.
seafaring people.
Oh, yeah, totally. Way before colonization. Then, boom, over 300 years of Spanish rule, that's going to leave a mark.
I mean, Catholicism being the dominant religion, that's a big one.
For sure. Architecture, language, everyday stuff, you see that Spanish influence everywhere. But then late 1800s, it's American control after that war with Spain.
Another big shift, wow. And then finally, independence in 46 after World War II. Talk about resilience.
Absolutely.
Okay, so more on the culture, though. Over 7,000 islands. Got to be diverse, right?
Oh, incredibly. Think about this. 170 plus languages and dialects. Officially, it's Filipino, based on Tagalog and English, but you travel around, it's like a whole different world on each island.
Wow. And the festivals, right? Sinulog, Ati-Atihan, I've heard stories.
Those are something else. Sinulog, that's in Cebu. It's just color, music, religious, devotion, all mixed up. Street dancing, amazing costumes. Then you've got Ati-Atihan over in Aklan. That one's more tribal rhythms, body paint, so much energy.
Sounds intense. And Panagbenga, right? The flower festival in Baguio. Those floats are insane.
Exactly. The whole city's like a giant flower arrangement, really artistic. I think these festivals show you something, about the Philippines, the faith, the love of celebration, the artistry. It's all there.
So, natural beauty, rich history, vibrant culture, we've got that.
Yeah.
What about, like, the political scene, the economics, the government's a, republic?
Yeah. Democratic Republic, presidential system, kind of like the U.S. president's got a single 6-year term, multi-party system. So lots of different voices in politics, always something happening.
And the economy, what's driving things there?
It's mixed. You've got electronics, big player, making parts for all those tech companies worldwide. Agriculture's still huge, of course. I mean, it's 7,000 islands, rice, coconut, sugar, lots of that.
What about this whole business outsourcing thing, call centers and stuff? Is
Right.
that big?
Huge, tons of jobs, brings in a lot of money. And then you've got tourism. Everyone wants to see those beaches.
They do look pretty inviting, I gotta say. But that's a lot of nature to protect, right?
That's the thing. It's one of the most biodiverse places in the world. You've got the Philippine eagle, magnificent bird, a real symbol. Then the tarsier, tiny little primate, just so much life. Balancing that with the tourism, that's the challenge.
Okay, so we've done history, culture, economy, even a bit of politics. Now I'm ready for the fun part. Food. What are some things I got to try when I visit the Philippines?
Oh, Filipino food, you're in for a treat. It's got influences from everywhere, Malay, Spanish, Chinese, even American. It all blends together. First up, adobo. You can't go wrong with that.
I've heard of it. What's so special?
Well, imagine like tender meat, slow cooked in this sauce, vinegar, soy sauce, garlic, peppercorns. It's tangy, salty, savory, all at the same time. Every family has their own version. It's a real comfort food.
Sounds good. What else?
Sinigang, gotta try that. It's a soup, sour and savory, good for any time. They use tamarind to get that sourness, usually with veggies, meat, sometimes seafood. It's like flavorful, but also refreshing.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Sinigang, check. What about, like, a celebration, special occasion? What do they eat?
Lechon, that's the one. They roast a whole pig, crispy skin, juicy inside. It's the centerpiece for big events, festivals, you name it.
Wow, okay. I love noodles. Any good noodle dishes?
Oh, you'll love pancit. It's like their national noodle dish, but there's a million versions. Pancit canton, pancit bihon, pancit palabok. Every region's got its own thing going on.
So stews, soups, roasts, noodles. Filipino cuisine has got it all. What about street food? What's that like?
Oh, street food is a whole experience. Cheap, delicious, everywhere you look. You ever heard of isa?
I saw. No, what is it?
Grilled chicken intestines. Sounds a little different maybe, but people love it. Then there's kwek. Those are quail eggs, deep fried with this bright orange batter. They're kind of crispy and savory. Really good.
Okay, the Philippines is officially on my travel list now. But before we get carried away, let's talk about the people. What's the population situation?
As of like right now, February 15th, 2025, it's about 116.4 million people. That makes it the 14th most populous country.
Wow, that's a lot. And it's a pretty young population, right?
Yeah, that's important. The median age is 26.1. So you've got all these young people driving the economy, changing things up. They're tech savvy, connected to the world. It's a really exciting time for the Philippines. And it's interesting, how that impacts culture too. You've got the traditional stuff, but they're mixing it up with modern influences. It's a really dynamic society.
It's true. You see it in the music, fashion, how they use tech. Like, it's both old and new at the same time.
Mm.
And speaking of global connections, Filipinos are out there making a name for themselves, right? In all kinds of fields.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You look at sports, you've got Manny Pacquiao, boxing, legend, rose from nothing to become a world champ, multiple divisions, a real icon.
That's such a powerful story, like that resilience you were talking about. It's really inspiring. What about the arts? Anyone making waves there? Music, theater?
Oh, for sure. Leah Salonga, she's a big one. Tony Award winner, singer, actress. She was in Miss Saigon, internationally famous. Amazing voice, incredible on stage.
It's great to see Filipinos, shining like that globally. Their talent really shows. So, shifting gears a bit, what about everyday life there? I'm picturing busy cities, but how do people get around? The transportation system, what's that like?
Well, in the cities, it's public transport, mostly. And you can't talk about Filipino transportation without mentioning jeepneys.
I've seen those, the colorful ones, all decked out. They're like art on wheels. Tell me about those.
They are. Basically, they started as surplus jeeps after World War II. Filipinos are super resourceful, so they converted them into these public vehicles and then they decorate them, all these crazy designs. Everyone's different. It's kind of a symbol, that ingenuity, making something new out of something old.
That's so cool. What about those three-wheeled things I've seen? Those common too.
Oh, the tricycles. Yeah, super popular, especially for short trips. It's like a motorcycle with a sidecar, cheap, easy to get around.
So jeepneys, tricycles, that's going to be a colorful way to travel. But what about long distances, like between islands?
Well, they've got airports, domestic and international. Ninoy Aquino International, that's NAIA, in Manila. That's the main one for coming in from overseas. And if you want to hop around, see those beaches in Palawan, the Chocolate Hills in Bohol, domestic airlines are good for that.
Makes sense. Got to have those connections. So it sounds like they've got a pretty good system, whether you're in this city or going island to island. Now, I'm curious about politics again. We talked about the history, but what's been happening lately? I know there have been some changes, right?
Oh, yeah, it's been pretty dynamic. Like the Duterte administration back in 2016 to 2022, they were known for that whole war on drugs and their approach to China, foreign policy stuff.
Yeah. Duterte, he was definitely controversial, sparked a lot of debate here and in the Philippines.
Definitely strong opinions on both sides, raised questions about human rights, how they were doing things, the whole geopolitical strategy. It was a big shift for sure, and yeah, some controversy too.
And now, who's in charge? Who's leading the country?
So, since 2022, it's been Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. He's actually the son of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. It's a big deal. A Marcos family back in power. Lots of people talking about that.
Yeah, the Marcos family, they've got a complex history in Philippine politics, to say the least. You must have gotten some reactions.
Oh, absolutely. It's brought up all these questions about, what happened in the past, political dynasties, where the country's going. It shows you the Philippines is still dealing with its history, even as it's moving forward.
It's fascinating and complicated. So we've gone from ancient kingdoms to a modern republic, talked about the culture, the food, even getting around. But beyond all that, what would you say really defines Filipinos? Like, at their core, who are they?
I think it's that ability to bounce back. Filipinos are resilient. They've been through a lot, natural disasters, economic struggles, political ups and downs, but they always seem to come out stronger. And I think a big part of that is that strong sense of community, of family.
Yeah, we talked about Catholicism being the main religion, but is there like a spiritual side that goes beyond that?
Oh, absolutely. They have a deep respect for their ancestors, and there's a strong belief in spirits, both good and bad. So you get this mix, animism, folk beliefs, all blended in with the religious stuff. It's a unique spiritual landscape, that's for sure.
So you could have someone going to church on Sunday And then making an offering to a spirit at a local shrine during the week.
Exactly. It's fascinating, right? They hold on to their traditions, that connection to the land, the unseen world, it's all very present. It's not unusual to see people paying respects to spirits, offering food, prayers, even seeking guidance from traditional healers alongside their regular religious practices.
It's really interesting that link to their heritage. We talked about the economic side, the
Mm.
progress, the challenges. But what about family? How important is that in Filipino society?
Family is everything. It's the foundation. It's where you belong, where you get support. It shapes who you are. Filipino families, they're known for being close, often multiple generations living together.
Yeah, that multi-generational thing, I've always admired that. It must create such a strong sense of, like, continuity, shared history.
It does. It really does. And it goes beyond the immediate family, too. Extended family's huge. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even close friends, they're all considered family. There's this deep sense of community supporting each other, taking care of each other, and it all comes from that emphasis on family.
It sounds like a really beautiful system, so much warmth and support. It's nice to hear about a culture that values those things so much.
Mm.
And Filipinos are known for being very hospitable, right?
Oh, yeah, incredibly hospitable. They want their guests to feel welcome, comfortable. They go out of their way to make you feel at home. Sharing is a big part of the culture, whether it's food, a kind word, helping someone out. That's one of the things that makes visiting the Philippines so special.
Well, I think we've done a pretty good job of exploring the Philippines today. From the natural beauty to the vibrant culture and the strength of the people, it's been an amazing journey. As we wrap up, what are the big things you hope our listeners will take away from this deep dive?
You know, I think the key thing is to remember that the Philippines is a place of incredible diversity, resilience, and warmth. It's a place where the old and the new are constantly interacting. The bustling cities, the peaceful rice terraces, the crystal clear waters, there's something for everyone.
I totally agree. And after learning all this, the history, the culture, meeting the people, I think it's safe to say the Philippines should be on everyone's travel list. It's been a fascinating exploration, and I want to thank you for sharing your insights with us.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk about a country as dynamic and captivating as the Philippines.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of the Philippines. We hope you've gained a new appreciation for this incredible nation and its people. Until next time, keep exploring and keep seeking out those deep dives that enrich our understanding of the world around us.